Ready to get to work? That was kind of wimpy. All right. You know, what I'm going to do is get you to think about a few things, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of what we're going to get into. But I like to start with what Steve Jobs said. So look at that. He said, for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today were the last day of my life, what would I want to do? Would I like to do what I'm about to do? And if the answer is no for too many days in a row, I know I need to make a change. So I want you to just imagine you're looking in the mirror, and it's Monday morning. You're back home, Monday morning, and you look in the mirror and you ask yourself, do I want to do what I'm about to do today? And if the answer is no, ask yourself, how long has the answer been no? He says days. I've gone out in the room and asked people, how long has the answer been no for you? And I've heard things like 10 years, 20 years, even 40 years. And I think about that. And I think about those points in life where you get to the point where you have to make a pivotal decision. Am I going to do what I really want, or am I going to keep doing what I'm doing? And I think about the moment when I hit send. Now, what I'm talking about there is first, when I went to that seminar in 2006, I swear my head was chopped off, shaken all around. When I came into that seminar room, I thought everything was going pretty good in my life. And I wasn't really thinking about what I wanted to get out of the seminar other than learn some leadership skills. And then Bob just took me on this whole different path. And he kept asking, what do you want? What do you really want? And something about the way he was asking it, the energy he was putting out, and how he kept telling us, you can have anything you want. You can be anything you want. And I started to build a belief that that was the case. So maybe the third time he said, what do you really want? And I opened my book, seminar book, and I wrote in teeny tiny print, I want to be Bob Proctor's closest advisor. I want to be in the inner circle of this company. And I want to create a program with him to bring into the boardrooms and executive offices that I'd been in for almost 2 decades before I ended up in that seminar. I was doing bank mergers and acquisitions, forming banks and other financial institutions, doing IPOs, and I loved the work I was doing. But in this seminar, I just got this idea that there was a bigger purpose for me, that I could make a bigger impact, a much, much, much bigger impact. So I wrote this down, and what did I do? I slammed the book shut. I had written it in teeny tiny print so no one could see it. I wouldn't share with anybody at my table, and the mental chatter that was going on in my head was just insane. Who do you think you are? Bob Proctor doesn't even know who you are. He's got a great team. Why would he need you? You don't know anything about personal or corporate development. How are you going to do this? What about your 401k? And you're an equity partner in your law firm. They can't kick you out. You get profits for the rest of your life. Why would you leave that? And then I could hear my dad, Sandra, be prudent, because he was a client at the time. I practiced on Wall Street, and then I practiced with my dad for about 4 years before he became a client. And oh my gosh, when I was thinking, what would your dad think? Oh my gosh. And I could just hear his voice. Sandra, why would you give all that up? I remember one time I asked Bob a little ways down the road after the seminar, and I said, gosh, I wonder what my dad will think that I'm thinking about leaving the law. And he looked at me, he goes, how old are you? And I'm looking at him baffled, like, why is he asking me how old I am? I didn't even get it. And he asked me again, how old are you? I'm like, oh, wow, yeah. Why am I wondering what my dad's going to think about this? But by the end of the weekend, I fell in love with this so much. And fast forward, created the program, started volunteering with the company. And then in December of 2008, Bob asked me to come in and run the companies as CEO. And there were 19 companies. It was a big challenge that I was taking on. I said, yeah, this is a great opportunity. And he said he would do everything I said. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this. But I kept heading up my practice group in the law. I kept practicing law. I kept working on the program that we finally released in April 2009. And one day in May of that year, 4.5 months after I took over as CEO, Bob comes up to me and goes, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "What? I can do it all. I can practice law, I can work on this program. I've got this." And he looks at me with that Bob Proctor look, just, glaring in my eyes, and he's like, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Are you in or are you out?" And he said it in that voice like, I knew I had to make a choice. And I had already written the letter that I was going to send to all my clients, my colleagues, even my dad. And I had this letter, and I had it queued up, and it was going to over 2,000 people. And I would look myself in the mirror, and I would say, do you want to do what you're about to do? Drive down to the high-rise in Seattle, go up there and work on these deals that I used to love working on, but now I saw a bigger purpose? And the answer was no, and it had been no for quite a while. But I couldn't hit send. I froze. And so I called Bob, and I said, I wrote this letter, I have it queued up, but I can't hit send. And in a booming voice, he said, "Jump, hit send, jump, you'll develop wings along the way." Now, he didn't say it like that. I swear they could hear in the hotel next door how he said this. And the second time he said jump, it was this booming voice, and it just shocked me, and boom, I hit send. And then I went to the outbox to see maybe, please, it got hung up in the outbox, and it didn't really go out. And I saw it in the outbox. And you know that noise? Shh. Tommy, where's that? Shh. There we go. And I heard that, but I'm still checking the outbox, praying it didn't go out. Because what does Steve Jobs say? If the answer's no for too many days in a row, you got to make a change. He said, I know I need to make a change. And I hit send, and I look in my outbox, it's there. And the next day, about 24 hours later, I think it was 893 replies. And I had just beautiful replies. Like, I wish I had that kind of passion. I wish I was doing something like that. I wish I had the courage to do something like that. And then I had 3 responses that I'll never, ever forget. And I think of it every time I bring this slide up. There are 3 lawyers who are excellent lawyers, been doing this for over 40 years, and they all said essentially the same thing. I would love to do something like that, but I'm going to sit here at this desk till the day I die. And I think back on that, and they meant it. They were not willing to make a change. And I think back, and I think, thank God that I sent that email. Thank God I was willing to make the change, even if I did have to pick up the phone and have Bob yell at me in order to do it. But I did it. You got to be willing to make a change. You have to make room for the good you desire. If you keep trying to do and stay on the track you're on, you're not going to give room to the good that you desire. So you got to ask yourself, see, are you willing to change? Why would you change? Because you want to grow. Why do you want to grow? Because we're spiritual beings. Spirit is for expansion and fuller expression. When you are not expanding and growing and expressing yourself, you're dying. You're dying inside, and your spirit is just screaming out at you. And you can hear it in many different ways. You see it expressed in your physical body. You see it in your energy level. You see it in the people you're attracting around you. Are you moving forward or are you moving backwards? If you want to grow, and we all want to grow, you have to change. You have to embrace change. And it's not easy. And a lot of people just don't do it. That's why so few are really living the life they want. I remember being interviewed by Larry King, and I asked him that question because he had interviewed, the most well-known people, high-profile people over his career. And I asked him, of all the people that you have interviewed, how many do you think are really living the life they want to live? And he answered, very few. Very few people are really living the life they want to live. And so you got to answer this question, are you willing to change? And you might say yes now, but you got to be willing to change, and you got to lock that in as part of your paradigm, because that's what's required.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of good information up here, and it causes everything in your life to get better. If you'd like us to notify you every time we put a new video up, hit subscribe and then turn on notification. Check out all our videos, and we will notify you when we put a new one up.